Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today morning news for Tuesday, August 8th. I am Mary Claire Williams. Law enforcement officers were kept busy on Kadooment Day after several violent incidents put a damper on the festivities. There were reports of at least 3 people being shot on Spring Garden Highway last evening, and 1 man was also shot in Waterford, St. Michael, while another was stabbed. And despite the violence, organizers of this year's Cropover celebrations are hailing the event as one of the best in recent years. The curtains came down on the festivities yesterday with the annual Grand Kadooment. Revelers and spectators were out in their numbers from the National Stadium to Spring Garden Highway, and Bajan superstar Rihanna was also home for Kadooment Day. Culture Minister Stephen Lashley was among the revelers, and he says he's pleased with the growth of Cropover in the past few years.
The festival has shown the growth that I think we predicted about 5 years ago. We started on a strategic growth path to grow Cropover, to increase the number of events, and certainly to encourage the variety and certainly the creativity in the festival. And we've seen that, and I said before, Cropover is a world brand. It offers the world a uniqueness. I mean, no part of the world can you find a festival that spans in excess of 6 weeks, with a variety of events, activities for everyone. And I think persons have responded to that. We've seen the numbers at Soca Royale, we've seen them at Spring Garden. This really is phenomenal. I think it's a tribute to Barbadians that they can create such an excellent festival and offer it to the rest of the world.
Grand Kadooment also got the stamp of approval from veteran Calypsonian Mighty Gabby.
I love it. I like the color, I like the excitement, but most of all, I love the creativity. It's not just feathers and beads this year. You see that a lot of thought went in the designing of these costumes, and you can see the revelers had a lift over many years. This is one of the best ones I've seen in a long, long time, and the music is excellent. Maybe I shouldn't be biased, but I am biased. I love plastic bags so.
Gabby also gave the thumbs up to the Pick of the Crop finals, saying the standard was much higher than previous years.
It was a first-class finals. Some people say, well, the second half went down, but they don't understand because the Swans will be fighting for position in the first half. Everybody got to fight because sometimes the judges forget what you did. Honestly, it's really outstanding. But I found that both halves were really good. The song quality was much better than times I've been down there. And the band is playing a lot better than, say, 10 years ago. So, you know, it's more balanced. The engineering is first class. You can hear all the horns, all the bass, the drums. You know, you hear the background vocalist and the lead vocalist, which would be Calypsonian. It's a lot better. And look at the crowd. Everybody was shocked that Kensington was overflowing, and they keep saying that social commentary is dying or is dead. If they mean dying, they mean it changed its color. That's the only dying.
In other news this morning, a St. George man is due in court today to answer to drugs and firearms charges. 23-year-old Darren Danico Austin of Glebe was arrested on Saturday morning during 4-day morning jump. Acting on a tip-off, police apprehended Austin and discovered the firearms and drugs on his body. He was charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of 2 rounds of ammunition, and unlawful possession of cannabis. He is expected to appear in the District A Magistrates Court today. Members of the Anglican community are remembering the late retired Dean Frank Marshall, who passed away yesterday. He was 71. Dean Marshall had been ailing for some time and was hospitalized recently. He is survived by his wife Beverly, children Paul and Claire, as well as grandchildren and siblings.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who calling? Get your yams and potatoes. Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I got how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. This month now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have made a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. Because at night time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she just read Barbados Today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, at pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
4.75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney is adding his voice to the debate over the current impasse between Sandals hotel chains and the Antiguan government. The resort chain recently announced a 3-month suspension of operations in St. John's, a move that has been roundly criticized by Prime Minister Gaston Brown. But the St. Lucian leader says Sandals remains committed to Castries. We get more in this report from HDS News Force.
In the latest round of government of Antigua versus Sandals Resorts International, the Prime Minister Gaston Brown accused the resort of concealing millions of dollars in profits from the government. The hotel chain has since responded, describing the government's reaction to its proposed 3-month closure as shocking and disturbing. Brown says Sandals International and other hotels are, quote, creaming from the top when reporting their earnings. With Sandals operating 3 resorts in St. Lucia and a 4th on the way, Prime Minister Alan Chasney was asked to weigh in on fears of one operator having too much power, something the Grosile MP alluded to recently. The Prime Minister says he is not concerned that Sandals' relationship with the government of St. Lucia will go the way of Antigua.
It's sad that a relationship with any government and private sector entity would have reached that point, but it's obviously not the first time that that's ever happened. In terms of St. Lucia, I think that Sandals having 3 properties and possibly a 4th property can be looked from 2 perspectives. Some people might say, wow, they have 4 properties, so they're can hold you accountable. I also look at it from the perspective that Sandals has got a substantial amount of its overall global inventory here in St. Lucia. And so I think the likelihood of them doing something similar in Antigua, I'm not so sure that's possible.
And finally, Kenya is voting today for a new government. Voters are casting their ballots amid heightened security, with an estimated 180,000 police officers and members of the security forces deployed across the country. President Uhuru Kenyatta has appealed for calm ahead of the polls. He called on the 19 million registered voters to turn out in large numbers, but to do so in peace. Kenyatta is being challenged by his longtime rival Raila Odinga, and the race is seen as too close to call. The final week of campaigning was marred by the murder of a top election official and claims of vote rigging. That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.